but he went out and searched for her.
The less I'm loved, the less lovable I become.
Why, at the age of 17, should I become a prisoner and a prey to this drug? In those days, there were
sexual, financial, social, and legal complications.
And I wonder if anyone, ever weary of life, ever penned such lines as these, stood bound and helpless, dirt and refuse. I had endured the watches of the dark.
In expiation, redress, and atonement for all the wrong that we have done. And then when we reach this point, then only can we begin to do good in paradise. How often, for example, in the physical order, doctors will graft skin, healthy member of society, to the anemic person in order to cure the person of that condition. Put our foot down in pain. That's one way pain can be used. Burn our face, from our back to our face. Pristine elegance. We live in a world in which we do not grow the sheep, for example, but we wear woolen clothes, sacrifices. Why should we offer up our sufferings in expiation or reparation? Simply because we love.
Now that's a good question.
The mother sits up with her sick child all night long. Words, not agony. There are not any lovers in the world. I mean real, true lovers. Love will not kill pain. Sorrow does not seek isolation. The great tragedy of our world is that most people have no one to love. Oh, the tragedy of the world is not so much suffering as what we miss when we do suffer. Think of all of the sick in hospitals with aching brows who might in some way sanctify that pain by correlating it to a crown of thorns. He wants to take on that pain as its own. Love in the face of sorrow. Their life is tragic indeed. All the aching hearts of the world, all of their worries and anxieties and fears. And since there's no one to love, they never think of the love of God. One day I passed him, fettered on a tree. He turned his head and looked. Sacramentalized that agony did they but correlate it in some way with hands that were riven with steel. Sin and evil want to do the same thing.
Well, one of the causes of loneliness has to do, first of all, with the lonely people themselves. Now, what are the causes of loneliness?
We take our sorrows, our disappointments, and the jealousies and the hatreds of others.
We want to love, to be loved. Now, there's nothing wrong about wanting to be loved. They want to be loved too much. We're cups without saucers. We are to be complimented, but the deep loneliness of which we are speaking comes from people who are not lonely. And another reason why they are lonely is because they desire to be loved. The more I want to be loved, the less lovable I become, the less I'm capable of loving others.
In those 9 months, he went into despair.
A desire to seek only oneself and to please oneself. One gets caught like a bird in a fowler's net because we're all Stradivarius violins without bows. And the more one struggles to get out of this loneliness, the more one is captured by it. The less I am loved. Just take some concrete examples of this desire to be loved. Thus, by wanting too much to be loved without loving, one loses even the love that one seeks. Love to be loved. And eventually the marriage was broken off. So one of the principal reasons of loneliness, therefore,
sinking lower and lower.
he finally lost his job, the marriage broke up. Egotism, which seeks only oneself. You know what we should do? You can already see the cure anticipated. They do not bring any love to these people. But then there's another cause of loneliness, and that's on the part of the people who are not lonely. Really concentrate a great deal on certain types of people. And we bring love to them. We put love into them. Then they become lovable. What is there in me to love? Nothing. Did you know that? We should concentrate on the rest of us will not listen to them. And so the loneliness of these people is increased also because on the unfortunate, on the poor, on the socially disinherited, on the unloved, particularly the unloved, and on the ugly. And that's what we have to do with other people. Refuse to listen. They just love too much. Refuse to care. You know how long they listen? The average was 2.5 minutes. Joan answers. You would hear the voices. He went to 100 clergy and 100 priests, just as I do. King Charles says to Joan, why do not the voices come to me? To the thrilling of the bells, and the trilling of them after they had stopped ringing. Felt it so much that blood poured out from his body. The cure for lonely people. Refusal to listen is one of the causes that intensifies this forsakenness. You prayed from the bottom of your heart and listen. We do the same thing with our prayers. They do come to you, but you do not hear them. When we're lonely, loneliness goes out through our fingertips. We wouldn't do to a doctor what we do to God. Go out and serve. Our heart opens. Go out and serve. Here's something to remember, too. Conclusions that our world has drawn which are false.
I felt at times perhaps they were wrong.
Without shoes, go out and find a man. We think we should not be lonely. We've got body and spirit, and they go in opposite directions. Caring for you. You're lonesome. And nothing can satisfy you either. Perfection is not here. This is not our home. We know it very well. Know anything about the loneliness of being deserted by friends? What's the cause of this loneliness? We should never have attention. Certainly we have tension. We must have it. Loneliness, for example, of a babe in Afghanistan who has no better home than to straw. What are we looking for? That's a good question. The loneliness of a mother who has to gather up a child in order to escape a dictator and fly halfway across Africa simply because his hands are calloused with common labor. I've got something that I want in my heart that nothing on this earth can satisfy. He's isolated socially from people. Loneliness of a man that's born on the wrong side of the tracks. And is denied decent society. Disowned by one's own people. Feeling doubts even about religion, doubts even which one cries out, why hast thou abandoned me? And felt all loathsome carnality so much that his flesh was hanging from him like purple rags. Be the only one on the battlefield that was whole and not help any of the wounded. Felt loneliness so much that as if all the robberies of the world were thrust into his hands, as if he himself were guilty. Now suppose that there was a figure that came into all of this loneliness.